Every year, same thing. Around this time every year, we get bombarded with the best products of the year. But I've made it a mission on my channel to every year look back at the favorites that I had of last year and just be like, where are they now? Are they still in my collection? Did I declutter them? Are they still favorites? How do I feel about them now? And I try to basically like produce them in front of you. Am I able to show you them? Because I've already done the declutter of this year. So if I had decluttered something that I claimed was a favorite last year, what have I replaced it with? How much of a favorite was it really if I decluttered it 1 year later? But I can let you know that I was indeed able to produce every single thing that I had as a favorite last year. I'm gonna be able to show you. So let's go down memory lane. It's just 1 year old. Let me show you all of the things that were my favorite last year. Let me tell you how I feel about them now. Let me tell you if they're still my favorite. And also, let me tell you about the one thing that's no longer in my rotation, the one thing that I've decluttered, and let me tell you what has changed for me to not have that as a favorite anymore. Also, if you're interested in this look right here, I did film it. I'll try and remember to put that down below or in a pinned comment, depending on if the description box gets full or not. All of these things that are going to be here, I am going to be putting in the description box if you want to see them, because I can tell you right now, I do recommend these things, and I'll put them in YouTube shopping as well. I don't know if this is going to be the same order as last year, but I think I'm just going to start with like primer and then work my way all the way up to eyeshadow, like the way that I would do my makeup. And then we're going to talk about a little, just a sprinkle of fragrance, skincare, hair care. Primers. This is very interesting. I still have this in my collection. You can tell I've used this a lot. This is the Glow Recipe Strawberry Blur blah 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 drops. These are a mattifying and blurring primer. It's like a lotion on your skin, and I will say, still use this one, still love this one, but this is no longer my absolute favorite mattifying primer. If I need a mattifying primer, I will use the one size, the new one, this one, the oil sucker. This one is still good. It is a mattifying primer. It does prevent your makeup from breaking up if you're going to be outdoors. It's almost like a hydrating lotion mixed with a mattifying primer, but it is not as mattifying as the oil sucker one. But I do still think that this one is good. I'm almost out. This is hanging on by a thread. If I made an effort to use this one every time I do my makeup, this would for sure be included in the empties, because I do a 6-month empties. I do one in the summer, and there's going to be another empties coming towards the end of the year. And if I use this every time I do my makeup, this would for sure be done by then. I can tell you that right now. Also, I will for sure have a favorites of 2024. That one is coming probably next week if you want to know what favorites I've found this year. But I still like this one. Next one is foundations, and I still very much like the 3 foundations that I mentioned, and they're still in my collection. This is a drugstore one. This is the Revlon Color Stay Longwear Makeup, and this is the combination oily one. I have mine in a 330. I bought this one in a lighter shade, and I actually did declutter the lighter shade because I was eventually able to find it in the store and get it in my shade, which is the 330 one. I think this is a really good shade for me. Really enjoyed this one. This is a great oil controlling natural finish foundation from the drugstore. 1,000,000% recommend. It's absolutely delicious. This is the Too Faced Born This Way Healthy Glow Moisturizing Skin Tint. This is not glowy. And I saw a lot of people saying, oh, I don't like this at all, because I would say this is a medium coverage, so it's not a sheer coverage skin tint. I also would say it's pretty matte. It is like a natural matte finish, so calling it a moisturizing, healthy glow skin tint is a little weird. It's a very liquidy, medium coverage, natural matte skin tint. If you're looking for something that is very liquidy and holds up good on your skin and is somewhat matte, this might be the one for you. You can sheer it out and make it into a sheer, but you can definitely pretty easily make it into a medium as well. And then we have the REM foundation. I think you can see how much I've used this one. This is a medium to full coverage foundation with more a satin natural finish. It is incredibly beautiful on the skin. This holds up pretty good on my skin for being a satin natural finish, but it's still not, it's not one of those that I would be like, put it on in the morning and it looks matte at midnight. That's not what this foundation is going to give you, but it still is a really good foundation. And I think that this is top 3 the best products that Ariane Beauty has ever done. And I feel like a lot of people like this one, but I haven't heard anyone talk about it this year. And I've been using it a little bit this year, but it definitely deserves even more love. It did survive me the clutter. It's a great foundation. I only mentioned one concealer and I can still produce it. Here it is. This is the House Lab concealer. I think it's called like the Triclone foundation concealer, not foundation, concealer. This is in 23 light medium golden. This is a great, pretty self-setting concealer. It's not super liquidy. It is not super like emollient. It is, I don't want to say dry, but it definitely self-sets a little bit. So I think that this one is great if you want to use as little concealer as possible and as little powder as possible. For me, this is a full coverage concealer. I think this is great. Still use it, still love it. I mean, it's still my collection, and I definitely still recommend it. I had 2 bronzers that I recommend. First one, you can clearly see how much I love it. I literally used this last week. It is a beautiful one. This is from Give Beauty. This is the bronzer duo in Toastin, which I think is the medium one. This is a very pigmented and buildable bronzer where you can use either the cream or the powder or mix them together, like use them together. I think it's beautiful. You can see how much I've loved this one. The second bronzer was actually the bronzer from Pat McGrath. And I was starting to like put these things together, pulling them out, putting them in a basket, being like, can I still find all of these? And I saw on the list that I had the Pat McGrath bronzer that she released last year. And I was like, where is that? Because I love this bronzer, but I was like, I have not seen that bronzer in such a long time. And I definitely did not see it in my declutter. Nowhere in this video is this shown. You know why? I put it in the wrong basket. And I talked to Polo and my friends and I said, I have not seen this product in so long, but if it's not with my bronzers, and I've gone through my entire collection decluttering, I said there's only one place it could be, and it actually was exactly there, which to me tells me that I have pretty good control over my collection. If I know exactly, if it's not where it's supposed to be, it has to be here. And I have a box of makeup that is just nostalgia. Things I'm saving for the nostalgia. It's not something I'm using. It's too old to use, but I'm saving it for nostalgia. I've been starting to do that a little bit because sometimes I regret decluttering things that I wish I could show you, physically hold in my hand, even though there's no way I'm using it. So I'm starting to save a couple of those things. And for some reason, this one was there. Why? Beats me. It's mystifying. I have no idea. But that's where it was. And I don't know how long it's been there. But I love this bronzer. I love it so much. And I usually have a little box here next to me. I have it over here of like makeup that I grab from when I'm sitting down to film or when I'm just sitting down to do my makeup. This one is going there immediately. Love this bronzer. I have not used it for a bit and I missed it. I had one powder and I think this was released in the beginning of last year, and it is the Kaleidos. These are called the Symphony Face Illuminator, and this one is in medium. This is beautiful. It has an incredible dip in it. I don't know if this one is showing the dip, but this one has an incredible dip in it. Beautiful one. I brought this one traveling so much this year because this is metal, very sturdy, and I absolutely love this one. It is not a satin powder, but not a dead matte powder. This is a great under eye powder. It also does its job in the T-zone, but not my most mattifying powder, but it has a little bit of a give to it. It's a matte, but not flat. And I really like this one. And this is one of those, I have such a dip in it, and I think I'm gonna see pan in a little bit. Give it 2 more trips, 2 more travels with this one in my makeup bag. I'm gonna see pan. Will I repurchase? Probably not immediately, because I have a couple of powders I want to get through. But if I go through a couple of powders, I feel like this one is one of those that I would miss and eventually would want back in my collection. I love it. Okay, let's go into cheek products, which is quite honestly one of my absolute favorite things. Highlighters and blushes they just make me so happy. And I have a couple of cream or like liquid ones, and I have a couple of powder ones. And let's start with the iconic London. I got this in PR and I was blown away by these. These are called the Kissed by the Sun. It's a multi-use product, and this is like a highlighter blush all in one. This is more metallic. This is more metallic than it is very much a highlighter blush duo. It's very highlighty. This one is in Hot Stuff, and I also really love Playtime. clearly these are still in my collection. I still use these. I still love them. I think they're really, really beautiful. I also talked about a liquid blush, and this is from Juvia's Place. This one is in Soft Tulip Glow, and this is their liquid blush that is a glowy formula. This is like a highlighter blush hybrid, and for someone who always mixes their liquid blushes with highlighter, this is perfect for me because this is what I want. I want the glowy cheek. I want that. I know Amanda calls it casually sweaty. That's what I'm looking for. I don't want a matte cheek. I'm never looking for that. So when I can get something like this, I think it's great. Or if I can put a powder and then put a highlighter on top. So I think this is beautiful. I'm never looking for something that is a flat matte cheek product. That's just normally not my thing. I also did mention, and here I have both the blush and the highlighter, and these are from Makeup Revolution. These are the Goddess Glow and the Hydra Bright Cream blushes. These are great. I also have the, this is the Pinkgasm Sunset by Charlotte Tilbury. I mentioned all three of these as favorites in last year, and they're still here. They're still going strong. You can tell by these blushes that I've been really, really enjoying these. I think all of these are great quality, and if you were wanting to try the Charlotte Tilbury glowy liquid formula, which I quite honestly, I think it's worth the hype. I think her glowy liquid formula, the highlighters and the glowy blushes, I think they're worth the hype. I said what I said, they're beautiful. These from Makeup Revolution, I'm gonna say it like it is. I've tried a bunch of these drugstore dupes. These in formulation is the closest to Charlotte Tilbury. So try those first if you want to save some money. Another highlighter that I mentioned was the liquid highlighter by Vive. This is, and I'm losing my dress, this is a beautiful formulation. This is just stunning, and it is this warm peachy gold that mixes fantastically on its own on the skin. It has a nice, somewhat transparent base, and it blends beautifully with blushes. It dries down, but not to a powder. It's very like flexible on the cheeks, but it's not sticky on the cheeks. Absolutely beautiful. I also had three powder highlighters. Did I say I love highlighters? Because I do, and they're all three. They're all here. All three of them still in my collection, still love them. Literally just traveled with this one. I was gone for a full month. I traveled to Australia and then I went straight to Greece. This is one of the two highlighters that I brought. This is from Moira. This is the Dreamlight highlighter in number 5, Love Struck. And this is this beautiful pinky goldy peach duochrome that is glowy but not beaming on the cheeks. It goes with everything. I absolutely love this one, especially this shade number 5. It's absolutely stunning. I cannot recommend it enough. 10 out of 10 recommend. I also love the Hollywood Glow Glide Face Architect Highlighter. That is a mouthful from Charlotte Tilbury. I know last year everybody and their mama was absolutely up in arms over the Rare Beauty highlighters, which I think are fine. But I think that those are straight up metallic on the cheek, to the point where I almost think they're a little bit too much in a day-to-day setting. This one has a transparent base. It looks wet on the cheeks but not metallic. I have mine in Champagne Glow. Absolutely love it. I personally think this one is better than the Rare Beauty one, and this one can be built up to be really intense. I just think it looks more sophisticated on the cheeks. That I said what I said. Again, the Rare Beauty one is incredible under studio lights. I just think it looks a little bit too artificial on a day-to-day, like, you know, going to the grocery store. This is my second Give Beauty product I mentioned. This is the Check My Glow Illuminating Highlighter in Homegrown Glow. This is number 2. It's the second lightest shade. This looks like a drugstore highlighter. I think a lot of people were saying it looked like the Physicians Formula. Again, when those were popular, I didn't live in the US and we didn't really have Physicians Formula. I'm from Sweden, so I'm not super familiar with those, but it does, like, there's a little bell ringing in the back of my head being like, yeah, maybe that was the one. This is such a beautiful, again, it is a believable glow on the cheeks. These are glowy but not beaming, and I love the formula. And again, it looks so pretty outside of social media too. I don't love the smell. It smells a little powdery, not once they're on my skin, but I do wish they didn't have that scent. I would have preferred something like a little vanilla-y over the baby powder thing, but Not to the point where it like throws me off, but it's not my favorite scent in makeup. Next cheek product that I have to talk about is the collaboration that Rudy Berry did with Bulbul. I'm not 100% sure. I bought this one because I wanted to try fake freckles even more. And this is like one of those that you do fake freckles with. It has like a little, you can see here, it's like a little ball at the end. Very easy to work with. And I think this is a great product. It's a transparent, liquidy product that doesn't bleed. Really, really pretty formula. And I'm pretty sure that they brought this one back. If I can find it, I will link it down below. Honestly, if you like faux freckles, I use this one and then one from Colourpop together. I think they're great. I love this product. I still use it. And if I go through this one and it's still available, I would 1,000,000% buy another one. Let's talk about lip liners. I had 2 lip liners that I mentioned. They're still here. Can you tell how small this is? I've traveled with this one a lot. And also this one. I'm actually surprised that this one is this long, but I think it's because this one is longer to begin with. And this one started out shorter because I have used these, both of them, to filth this year. This is the One Size Lip Snatcher lip liner in Out of Line. And this is like a muted red. They describe it as a mauve, but I think it's almost like a muted, like clayey red. I think it's absolutely beautiful. It is the most fantastic lip liner and I use it all the time. Love the formula, and I bought another one in the Sephora sale, like a lighter color. And then we have the ABH Caramel. This is a ginger beige. This is like a strawberry blonde, light or muted terracotta light beige. I don't know how to say it. It's like a beige that's leaning a little ginger orange. This is the perfect lip liner if you want to keep your lips light but warm toned. Like you don't want to be bright orange. You don't want to go brick brown, but you don't want to have a cool toned or a pinky leaning lip liner. I cannot recommend Caramel enough. This one is perfect for all your orange lip glosses. I love this one so much. It is the most amazing color. Let's talk about lip products before we get into some eye products. I mentioned the e.l.f. lip oil. I still have it. I still love it. I mentioned the Naturium Fighter Glow lip balms. This is my favorite right now. It is the orange one that is the shade Mango. They released this summer. I always have at least one of these flying around in my purse. Smells absolutely beautiful. Love these. If you love these squeezy tubes and you think a lot of those that are really popular at Sephora are a little bit too expensive, try these from Naturium. They're really good. They're really affordable. I also mentioned the Kaleidos lip glosses. I saved my 2 favorite colors in the declutter from last year. This color that is Skinny Dip. It is like a beige, and then I also have like a cool tone, almost like a grayish color, and that one is actually in my purse right now because that is my purse color right now, together with a brown Fido ball. So clearly these are 2 formulas that I really love still. Absolutely love them. And also these are so good. These are the Nabla Beyond Jelly, and this is Lunar, which is, you can tell how much I've used it, which is my favorite color. This is a sheer, buildable, glossy formula that is still, you know, stable enough to be in a stick like this that you can twist up. It's not goopy, and it's just so beautiful. It's more than a satin, but not fully one of those gloss click sticks. It is an amazing formula, and it is now available at Ulta as well. Cannot recommend these enough. They're absolutely divine. There's so many good colors. I think I still have 5 of these colors. 10 out of 10 recommend. And speaking of click sticks, and these survived this year's declutter as well, I don't love pH adjusting makeup. Listen, I said what I said. Don't come for me. I know that was such a big thing, especially last year. Still this year as well. These are the Tarte Maracuja Juicy Shifts. So this is a green one. I think this is this kiwi or lime, or what is this one called? Limeade. It just smells coconutty. This is a cooling peppermint. So it says plumping, but it is a peppermint plumping. Feels so lovely on the lips during a warm summer. And it does shift, you can tell, it shifts a little bit pink. But since this has a green undertone, no shimmer, and this is the least goopy of these click stick formulas. It is so great on the lips. It's like a jelly on the lips. Hydrating, cooling, gives a slight pink tint because of the green. And then this one, the Clementine. These have just been living in my purse. I absolutely love them. None of these, because this is more orange and this is more green and the undertone turns bright Barbie pink. I've used these a lot. I think they're great. They're not as goopy and like just thick and weird on the lips like some of these other click sticks are. I think they're great. My least favorite thing about them is that they're pH adjusting. And I still love them. And I still use them. And I've traveled with these a lot. And these have also lived in my purse a lot this year. I mentioned an eyeliner last year, and that is the Fake Away by Tarte. And I actually bought another color, and they came up with it in a mini. So this one is the beige one. Oh my god, do you see how little I have left? This is it. That's all I have left. Oh my gosh, I might need to buy a new one because I really love this one. I wonder how much I have left. Oh, the white I have a lot left of. Oh, I might need to buy a new one of this one because I love these. I travel with these. This is the most pigmented, just glides on. You only have to do one swipe, maximum two. They are pigmented, they stay on my waterline. I do have problems with watery eyes, especially in the springtime with a lot of pollen, and I think these are great. I absolutely love them. They do not irritate my eyes. They don't flake away or look weird. I just think they're great. I think they're great. I have two colors. I wish Tarte would release this formula in colors, like a pastel range for summer would absolutely be my dream come true, but at least I have these two. I think they're absolutely great, and I almost used that small one up, and I kind of need to get a new one. Let's talk about some eyeshadows. So every year here on my channel, what I do here on my channel is that I review makeup, especially eyeshadow and especially indie brand, and especially like colorful things, but I use all kinds of things, and I especially love doing more dramatic makeup like what I'm wearing right now. And every year I do a big ranking where I rank all the palettes that I've tried the entire year from least favorite to my best palette of the year. And then my best of the year, I will let you know about the 5 palettes that are going to be the top palettes, but I won't say which one is my absolute favorite. I can tell you now though which one is my favorite, and I have them here. The palettes that was just my tippity top favorite palettes of the year, and they're still here. They survived the color. I still love them. This is the Fall Magic by Unearthly. It's beautiful. It's just such a pretty color story. There is some murky greens. There is a little pinky neutral. There are some darker shades. The shades here are beautiful. This is just a really pretty palette. The quality is stunning. I think this palette is a great palette. I still absolutely love it. I also have the 2 Jude Divine that Oden came out with, and my personal favorite is this one. That is the one that's called Stone and Rock. I think this might be, except the ones that I created myself, because I did work with Oden and I do have a couple of palettes with them that I've created, and these are my favorite palettes from them that aren't the ones that I made, because clearly I like my own the most because like I made those. I think they might still be available. You check the website. So this is the Stone and Rock. I love colors, murky, grungy, muted, but still mixed with some like contrast. And there's a white, there's a black, there's so many different like undertones. Absolutely love this one. The quality is beautiful. And then we have the one that's called Gem, Jewels and Gem. And this one is, again, it's a little bit more cool tone with some warmer, like almost pinky mauve colors going on up here. Beautiful, beautiful color story. There are some cool tones, there's some warm tones, there are some neutrals here, but there's a lot of muted colors, almost like if you put a gray filter over jewel tones. I think it's so beautiful. There's a multi-chrome down here. Overall, I think both of these palettes managed to do something that I think not all palettes are able to do. This is a neutral leaning palette for a color lover and a colorful palette for a neutral lover that both can agree is a happy middle. And I think these palettes are beautiful. They're still my collection. I absolutely love them. And then it is still to date my favorite palette from Natasha Denona, and this is the Yucca palette, and this is my jam. This is what I like. Love this. I had so much fun with this one. I absolutely love it. And I will say, the Roxa palette that just came out, I also really, really love that one. This is beautiful. Still think it's wonderful. Still my favorite Natasha Denona palette. I think it is absolutely beautiful. And if you love color and you don't want to buy something from indie brands, like you want to be able to go into a store and buy something, I would recommend the Yucca palette. I don't know if it's available in store, but you can definitely buy it online, both at Ulta and Sephora. This is probably, or at least top 3 favorite big palettes in my collection. This is the Rick and Morty by Glamlight. There is something about this that just makes me so happy. I love the undertones, I love the brightness, I love the pinky purples, I love the green orange corner down here. The shimmers are incredible. I love that there's a white and there's an iridescent blue here, and just the darkness. These 3 shades next to each other just sends me, there's something about, and even this dark green. Love this palette. Quality is one of the best palettes the Glamlight has ever done. Color story, absolutely beautiful. This is to me an interesting rainbow palette. It has the elements of a rainbow, but there's no red. We have pinks instead, and the shimmers are just beautifully sparkly. I just think that this palette is so much fun. I absolutely love it. It's still available, I think. A couple of these, I'm trying to think, yeah, all of the palettes that I'm talking about at these places, I will put that down below as well. You can use a code and get a discount. If you want to get 15% off with Glamlight, you can buy from their website and use the code Angelica and get some money off. And this was my favorite palette of last year. I'm wearing a blue dress today. I love blue. I love blue clothes. I don't love blue interior decor so much, but I love blue eyeshadow. Blue eyeshadow makes me so happy. And this is the Winter Wonderland by Cosmic Beauty. They did something that is so hard to do. They did an all purple, blue, mint, teal palette with no duds. This is a hard color scheme to perfect, and it is just so good. It is just so beautiful. I absolutely love this color story. I love what I've done with this. It makes me happy just looking at this. Like, just makes me so happy. There is a multi-chrome here. You can see it's a green to a pinky purple. Absolutely beautiful. We also have one here. It's like almost like a purpley blue green. I mean, you can see it. It's so intense, so interesting. This truly is a masterpiece of formulations. I still am in awe of this palette. I think it's absolutely beautiful. And those were the top 5 positions when it came to eyeshadow. If you are interested in seeing me review every other palette I tried, and it was over 100 palettes from last year, that video is still live on my channel. It's like ranking all the palettes I tried in 2023. It's still live on my channel in case you want to hear my thoughts and see stuff about all of the other palettes too. Now let's quickly talk about fragrances. I had 3 fragrances that I mentioned. Still love them, still have them here. The Kayali Pistachio, Yum Pistachio, I actually have 2 of these. This is my big one that I have, and I also have a smaller one. Oh, it smells so good. This is one of the few first gourmand scents where I was like, wait, I actually really like this one. And I realized since, because I have another gourmand scent here as well, and this is Angel Share by Kilian. This one is a lactic, like a milky, creamy pistachio ice cream, a little like nutty vanilla, but not overly marshmallowy, because I don't like when fragrances become too sweet. I don't want to smell like caramel. I really don't. But this one is very milky. I have come to realize that I like gourmands that are milky, and I like gourmands that are boozy. And this is Angel Share by Kilian. This is spicy and boozy. I don't know if it's rum or cognac. It could be cognac or even bourbon, but it smells like boozy spice, and almost the scents that are in here almost gives apple pie with booze, like a grown-up apple pie. It is a very sweet but very boozy, and I don't mean like alcohol. It's not a shot of tequila. Listen, we're a little bit more sophisticated than that, but it's very boozy. And I have since then realized that I like a gourmand scent if it has a milky or a boozy tone to them. It's nice to learn new things about yourself, but what I really want to smell like is a sophisticated piece of grass, and that's this one right here. This is Wilhelm Perfumery, and this is Basilico and Fellini, and it smells like grass and basil and the wonderful outdoors in a garden that you really are not in the right tax bracket to be spending time in. Sophisticated grass and basil. Love it. Absolutely love it. I have actually gotten another fragrance from Wilhelm Perfumery since then, which is called Faces of Francis, that I actually love even more, which is also a pistachio fragrance, but it's not a gourmand pistachio fragrance. It's like almost fresh. It's hard to explain. I really love it. Faces of Francis, absolutely beautiful as well. But yeah, those 3 fragrances, still favorites in my collection, still have them. Let's talk about a hair care product, because I have the Color Wow 1 Minute Transformation Styling Cream. This is great, like anti-frizz cream. It works on this is my natural structure in my hair. I have not styled my hair. I washed my hair today. I used the blow dryer, and this is it. I have very straight hair. I have not straightened my hair. This works on my hair. It works on my husband's hair. He has very coily hair. He has like curls. If you've seen him now that he's starting to wear his hair out without putting it in a bun, you have seen that he has very curly hair, like with the actual like coils in there. He likes it too, and it also works on my extensions to make them just instantly softer and less frizz. And I would say this is about halfway done. I think my husband has used quite a lot of this one. He really likes it. And last year was me discovering that I actually really enjoy, and I still do, a cooling face mask. So this is the I Am Green Tea Hydro Burst Morning Mask from Tony Moly, and it is the Clarin Cryo Flash Cream Mask. Both of these are cooling masks. You put them on your skin, you leave them for a bit, and they cool on your skin. They are incredible in the morning, incredible after being out in the sun, like truly an amazing sensation. I brought this one when I was traveling to a warm destination, when me and my husband went, where did we go? Was it on my cruise? I brought this one, and it's so beautiful. It is such a refreshing feeling. This is not as cooling as this one, but this one is expensive. And every time I see this on sale, I try to recommend it to you, because if you can get a deal on it, that's great. But both of these ones, still in my collection, still use them, still love them, still 100% recommend them. And I have been given a couple of extra ones of these from Clarins as like backups, and I've been giving them to some friends. And I hope that they enjoy them too, because they are so, so nice. And those were my favorites of last year, except I also mentioned that I had been using a tretinoin that had been prescribed to me from, I think, Dermatica. And I still think Dermatica makes great things, and I still think the service is great, but I don't use prescription strength tretinoin or retinol anymore, because I realized, and I've talked to a dermatologist about this, it triggers my eczema. 2024 has been the year where I have been battling with so much eczema, and I've realized that my skin does the best when I don't use too many harsh things on it, and I don't get breakouts. I never get pimples or breakouts. I don't get dry patches. I don't get red irritated skin. I don't get any of that, but I get eczema. So I've stopped using anything like that. Sometimes I use an exfoliating mask once a week, once every 2 weeks. I like the one from Pixi, the Peel and Polish, but that's it. I right now have some eczema here. Oh, I don't think you can see it, but I can feel it. I have eczema in my scalp. I have eczema on my finger. This one is hurting so bad. I used to have it around my eyes, but I don't anymore. I have it in my ears. I have it in my scalp. I have it everywhere. It is the bane of my existence. And I've seen a doctor. I've been getting prescribed things for it, and I'm trying to battle it. The one on my neck is looking way better than it did. But yeah, I've realized that too strong retinol is just not the one for me. And the dermatologist actually told me that she recommended me to actually use the over-the-counter retinol from like Sephora brands. So I've been using the one from Glow Recipe, and my skin is looking great. I don't have any breakouts. It's feeling firm and nice. I've been using it now for 2 weeks. So, that's not enough to say anything, but at least it's not triggering my eczema. But she told me you should probably use the non-prescribed one. It's probably like enough for you so that you don't trigger that. So I'm doing what she told me to do. I'm trying to be a good girl, but that's the only thing that I don't use anymore. And honestly, my skin is doing really good. My eczema in my face is literally the only eczema that's gone away, so I must be doing something right. I am getting a little bit glowy. I've been talking to you for a long time. Please let me know. Do you feel like because this is me, when I have a favorite, it usually stays a favorite. Sometimes I might replace them because I'm like, oh, I love this one even more. But I will say most of the time when I change favorites, it's more like this one is a little newer, so it feels more fun. You get tired of things, but all of these things are absolutely beautiful. If I was left with using these products for the rest, like for 2025, I'd still be fine. These are beautiful products. These are fantastic products. I'm very happy with them. So I still think that I made good choices last year, and hopefully I'll make good choices this year as well. I hope you like this one. Don't forget to subscribe before you leave, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!